Dismissing the power of the reframe is costing you money in your business, fulfillment in your life, and could be harming the quality of your relationships. Now, let me explain because that's a pretty bold statement. The power of the reframe. Here's the thing, context is king. Let me say that again. Context is king. So, in regards to your business, creating the context around whatever you offer, around the service or product you sell is the value, right? So if you want to increase the value of what you're selling, part of part of the job there is that you have to capture people's attention. That's why you see all of these people giving away these free offers because they don't have the time to create the context of the value of whatever they're offering. So they give you a free offer to get you on an email list or to push you to a webinar so that they have a captured audience. That's the power of public speaking. That's the power of getting on stage. That's why when people go to events where people are speaking, they'll buy so much stuff. Because let's face it, we live in a distracted world. We live in a world where people's attention span is incredibly small. And if you want to show somebody the value of whatever it is that you have, it's creating the context around that creates the value. So I see a lot of people ignore this. Let's say that you're selling cars. Well, you're selling a commodity. People don't necessarily buy from you only based on that commodity. Now, maybe you, especially if they're new, it's like, hey, these things are equal. All things being equal, well, what's the difference between dealer A and dealer B? Well, the difference is how they contextualize themselves. The difference is how they explain their value. Why would I go with dealer A versus dealer B? Well, I'll tell you because any good person or any good salesperson or any individual that studies persuasion understands that first you have to set up somebody's listening and then you have to create the context for the value. And part of setting up somebody's listening is actually getting them in a buying state. And that's re-anchoring to a good time that they had before or creating that feeling. And so when I see people with offers, everybody's trying to push something that is faster or easier or all of these things. Now, let's say that you sell a 6-month fitness program. Well, that sounds pretty difficult to a lot of people. Except if you actually create the context around it, where instead of saying where they're focusing on how long it's going to take, all the effort, all the things they're going to have to give up, you reframe that and say, look, really, if anybody could do this, there would be no value. The fact that you can stay committed in this one direction for this duration of time, that creates the value, that creates a self-worth, that creates the confidence for that person. And let me tell you, we see a lot of people go get liposuction and try to take a shorter route. But in the end, they're not left with the same thing, which is why we see people who actually have coaching. They actually go through a program. At the end, they're proud of the body that they've built because of the level of effort and dedication and commitment that it took to build that. And then they take that same level of commitment and dedication, and then they go apply it to their family, to their business, to their life. So to go back to what I was saying, context is king. So if you have a business and you are not properly explaining your value, also known as creating context for why what you're selling has value, in a unique way, ideally in a way where you create. So, to give you an example, I was reading an email the other day from Ian Stanley, famous copywriting dude, comedian, hilarious. If you ever go see his comedy show, but there was this profound statement, and it goes something like, it's better to be different than it is to be better. And it's better to be different than it is to be best. And if you're different enough, by default, you are the best. So essentially, if you're the only one that provides that, then you are the best. And here's the great thing, you may be providing a very similar service as other people. You may be providing a very similar product as other people. But when you create the story, when you set up the context, when you create the story, then you become the only. So, guys, that's why I'm saying context is king. And this is the power of the reframe. And I can't tell you how powerful it is and how much it's changed my life and other people's life who I've explained it to. But this goes so much deeper than just business, than just money, than just anything. This is fundamental to life. If you have to go walk your dogs and you view it as a chore, then it can be a draining experience. However, if it's an opportunity for you to have connection to nature and also to be present, well, it can be a very different type of experience. So you're able to reframe that. And this is why at the very start, I said it can affect your relationships, your family, and the overall quality of your life, because the ability to reframe what's going on in your life, the quality of your life, the events and experiences of your life is the game. I mean, that is like mindset 101. Because you may not have absolute control over the events of your life. You may not have absolute control about what happens to you in life, but you do have control over the context that you create about those experiences. And, I made a video the other day about expectations are the mother of disappointment and really how to escape disappointment. And so, for the context of this video, what I hope you'll take from it is the immense power that a reframe can have for your life. And it's a skill set. Like, this is a skill set. Haven't you ever met one of those people who are positive all the time? No matter what happens, they can find something good. I bet you also know somebody who, no matter what happens, the best thing in the world could happen and they'd find something negative about it. These people are just stuck in patterns, habitual rituals, and they just play these patterns out over and over and over again. And that determines the quality of their life. One person is miserable, another person has a much higher quality of life that they enjoy, that they're optimistic over, that they have hope for, that they're excited about. And so really it's up to you. And the reason this matters so much is because there's really three big things most people want in life: health, wealth, relationships. If I had to add a few more, I would probably say time, freedom. Of course, health, wealth, relationships, and time, for a lot of people equal freedom. You could say security. But if you had freedom, by default, you may not need the security. But those are the key things. And when you start learning the power of context, then it's much easier to actually gain those things. Because if working out is always a chore, taking care of your health is always a chore, if relationships are always a struggle, if you're struggling in your business, well, you're probably creating a context for those things that is creating this experience that you're calling life. And it's creating, if you say, why can't I ever make money? Well, that could be because of your relationship with money. You think time equals money. You think effort, hard work is necessary in order to make money. And I can tell you, I've been in rooms with people that make 9 figures and they don't work any harder than other people. I mean, some of them do, but dude, I know people that work 18 hours a day and make less than $50,000. I mean, that's crazy. So to believe these things is hurting the quality of your life. And if you want to make more money, if you want to make big jumps, if you want to do big things, you've got to understand that context is king. And when you can do that, and when you start creating the context for your customers, your clients, whoever you're serving, they will appreciate it. People want somebody to tell them how the world works. People want certainty. People people are desiring for somebody to come along and help them make a decision. So I don't believe if sales is one of these things that has to be like, I'm sure we all know somebody who's done the hard sell and tried to really push something, but I don't believe that's what selling really is. I believe selling is persuading somebody to make a decision about something they already want and helping to create the context so that they can actually make that decision. Regardless of what you want, it's about them. And when you come from that place, I think it creates a much better atmosphere. That's just a personal opinion. But what I'm saying, especially in business, guys, there's a lot of people out there that are creating offers that they're not properly contextualizing. They're not setting up the space. They're not setting up the listening. They're not setting up the context for why that differentiates them in a saturated market and how it's valuable and how that story connects to their customers. And that's, basic 101, message to market match. And that's really a big problem that a lot of business owners have is they have a message and they have a market, but the message and the market match are not a great fit and they're not creating the context. And so their customers don't value them. And when you actually learn to explain your value at a high level, that's where you get rewarded by the marketplace because they understand where to place you. The market understands where to categorize you. And if you contextualize yourself properly, they can't just go out and get something from anybody else because you're the one that created it. Like you're the category king. You're the category of one. You've created a blue ocean, not a red ocean. These are all like books, by the way. But that's part of it. So guys, I just want to encourage you in this video to look at your life. If you have a business, if you don't have a business, look at your life because even in your job, this will help you make more money. Even if you're not in a compensation-based position, even if you're not in a compensation-based position, this can help you because I've seen people recontextualize their positions. They recontextualize what they believe that they have to do and what they believe they're worth, and then go increase their pay. They're still working for somebody else, but go get 100%, 200% pay increase. I mean, how meaningful would it be if you're making $100,000 a year and you jump to 2 or to 3? And I know that sounds like a big leap. Most people would think, dude, that's impossible. But I'm telling you, I've seen it happen. But it happens on this fundamental level because you have to start recontextualizing, setting up the space, looking at your values, your beliefs, and doing that work to then push that message out into the marketplace and then get rewarded for it. Because without profit, there is no mission. And we all got to make money and we all want to take care of our health and hopefully we all have great relationships. I know a lot of people out there struggle, but this will help. It really will. So guys, my name's Kalen Compass. Hope this video helps. By the way, I'll put a link down in my book. This is, or down in the description for my book. This is it right here. It's not small, so don't get it if you don't like reading. And until next time, be great.